Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm MadSpidey. Thank you once again for tuning into my channel. So today's episode is actually going to be a shopping with Spidey episode. Unfortunately, I didn't plan on buying anything or getting anything because I'll tell that bit later. But basically, me and Mrs. Spidey going shopping, like, just normal, grocery shopping, things like that, and doing a few errands and grabbing some dinner and things like that at one of the local shopping centers, or in America you call it shopping mall. And I'm like, let's just go and have a look. You go and have a look at your Kmart, see if there's any, cool little toys and stuff like that, or figures, or, my little Hot Wheels cars, and things like that. Go to check out, Target or Target and things like that. And if there's any toy stores and things like that, just to see what's around, if anything sort of just an impulse buy, stuff like that. And like one of my episodes, I think it might have even been my first episode of Shopping with Spidey, went to a place called Zing's. Zing Pop Culture, which is part of EB Games. EB Games is basically a video game place, but they do have like collectibles and things like that in there, like t-shirts and hats and toys and figures and pins and all that sort of stuff. But Zing is part of EB's. Zing is like their actual pop culture store. Sometimes you'll find they'll be side by side. Sometimes when you go into an EB's, they'll have like a little sort of section of collectible stuff, but not necessarily a full Zing store. But a lot of them now are sort of doing them side by side. So there's that's video games and that's all your collectible stuff. Now in my first episode, I showed that I've been wanting to pick up, just if they're on special, if they're, cheap, some of the Marvel Legends, like the prop replicas and stuff they do, like the helmets and the shields and, all that sort of stuff. But only if they're cheap, because they're quite expensive over here. Like, nearly every single piece in that line is usually $200 or more, between sort of $200 to $300, $350. Some of the smaller pieces are usually around I think about $130, $140 to about $160, $170. But everything's sort of, as I said, it's expensive, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to get that one day. But it's it's always the fact of that, they're hardly ever on special or a decent price for me to just go, yep, I'm going to grab it. But there is some odd occasions. Obviously, the Black Panther helmet, as I said, usually that runs for around between the sort of $220, $230 mark, right up to $300, depending on where you're buying it from. And they had it on special for $99. And I'm like, I have to get that, so I did. The other one was the second episode of Shopping with Spidey was at one of those sort of, it was like a warehouse sort of sale. You don't know what you're going to get. And they had the Winter Soldier's shield there, and that was $99, down from $300. And I'm like, I've got to get one of those. So as I said, local shopping center, going shopping, and one thing led to another. And yeah, I got a few pieces. Some of them with help from Mrs. Spidey. Some of them I stupidly paid for by myself. Because I'm trying to pay off this comic deal at the moment, and, bills and all that sort of stuff. And cost of living's obviously going up. It's a bit hard at the moment. But I can't pass up this opportunity. So, I have 4 pieces here. I'm not going to do all 4 pieces in a video, because otherwise I'm going to be here for like an hour, and nobody's going to sit here and watch a full hour of this. So I'll do 2 pieces today, and then I'll do another 2 pieces maybe in a couple of days, or maybe next week. We'll see how we go. But I'll just call them part 1 and part 2, just so you know what's going on. So what I'll do is I'll go to the biggest piece first. And this was one that I hesitated. I saw the price and went, that's a cracking price, but I hesitated because I'm like, out of all the shields that have been released, this is probably the last one I wanted to buy. And once again, it was an absolutely cracking price. I couldn't pass it up. And it's the What If Captain Carter shield. So it's more like, you know, she's like, you know, Captain Britain almost. But yeah, normal retail on this is $2.99. I've seen it for $2.50, $2.60, up to like $3.09, $3.19. Usual recommended retail price is $2.99. They had it for $98, and I'm like, that's a third of the price. I can't pass up this opportunity. So I jumped on the opportunity. Let's open it up. Oh, it's got seals on it, so grab my trusty Hoarder's hide knife. Well, not seals, but it's just got a bit of tape on it, obviously, for prosperity. Keep it sort of in one piece, I suppose. Alright, so I think it's got some, yeah, so it's cable tied at the back. So I'm going to need to be able to get that off without cutting my fingers. Yeah. This knife is starting to get a little blunt. Alright, can we get it out? Yes, we can. So, as I say, there's the back of the shield. So it's just pretty much made out of plastic. But it's still pretty well made. It's got some good straps and stuff on the back. Get your arm through. If I can get my arm through. There we go. And there we go. So it's still like full size. It's a good looking replica. Like, obviously, you know, if it was actually metal or vibranium or adamantium or whatever you want to sort of say, it would be very heavy. So being the hard plastic, it's actually good, and it would look good sort of like mounted up on a wall or something like that. So it's actually quite sturdy. So yeah, so I'm still happy with my purchase. As I said, third of the price. You can't really go wrong with that. Yeah, I know What If wasn't everybody's, you know, everybody's thing. Some people loved it, some people hated it, some people were mixed. I was a bit mixed. I like some episodes, but not others. But yeah, it's a good display piece. Go along well with my. I think I put that in the wrong way. Yeah. Let's try going this way. I think that's the better way. There we go. So yeah, I enjoyed some of the episodes of What If. Some of them were alright. Some, you know, one or two were a bit stupid. But I didn't mind it overall. I always love watching superhero content regardless, so it's all good. And the other piece that I'm going to show was not actually bought at Zing, but it was actually another one of those Hush sales. I didn't get a chance to go. We were going to go on the weekend, but I was like, I'm tired, don't have any money. So Mrs. Spidey decided to go, and she's like, they've got one of these, do you want it? Because I know you're collecting them. And I'm like, hell yeah, for that kind of price. So they actually had the Marvel Legends Tesseract. Or in the old school way, it was called the Cosmic Cube. But yeah, the Tesseract, obviously, for the MCU. Comes a little Loki figure, which I don't really care about. But yeah, I thought that is a cool little piece. Now, usually these are the ones that go for around about 130 to about 170, 180, roughly, recommended retail. I think 150 is like the recommended retail, but obviously some people sell it less and some people sell it more. This was $39 at the warehouse sale, so I was like, Thank you very much. I will take one of those, Mrs. Spidey. Thank you. So let's, now I don't know whether this, I'm assuming it probably needs batteries. So I may need to cut and go and get some batteries, but we'll soon find out. I was looking all over the box. I couldn't see anything that said, you know, batteries included, needs these batteries, anything of the such. Yep, everything's fallen out. Alright, so we got some instructions in every language but English. Do not mix all so it looks like it may need batteries. Looks like everything's sort of falling out. So I don't know what this is. This might be the Loki figure. Alright, so that's a bit dodge. So you just get that's the Loki figure, literally just in a plain white box. Yeah, so not really interested in that. I can go back in the box. Looks like he's got a broken foot anyway. Yeah, trying to get it back in. His little fireball thing or whatever the hell is there, it wouldn't make it go back in the box. Alright. Alright, so there's the cube. Okay, so it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. Oh, okay, so it's actually got a set of instructions. I don't know. Okay. Seems like you... Oh yeah, so it's got like a little sort of hard case, obviously, to sort of keep it protected. Then a little bit of tissue paper. Alright, so it's nothing special. It's just pretty much just a plastic cube. But I suppose for 39 bucks, you know, I'm not paying $150 for it. So for 39 bucks, that's something cool. Now I'm assuming it's got, yeah, as I said, probably needs some sort of batteries or something like that. I don't even know how we open this. Does it open there? I got no idea. Alright. I might read the instructions and come back. Alright. So now that I cut all that crap out, that was extremely fiddly. So yeah, as I said, like you slide it open, or yoink it open, however you can do it. And there's that is what's actually, yeah, that's what's underneath. So I'm like, okay, you follow the very basic instructions, which it shouldn't be too complicated. But you could basically see there's a tiny little sort of screw there, so I had to go and get the small little sets of screwdrivers. You can see the batteries, so it uses 3 AAAs. I finally get it there and I'm like, why isn't it working? I'll put the batteries in, I can't see anything else. You flip the instructions over and there's supposed to be a button on it. It shows there's like a big button. You know, hang on, where's the instructions? So, yeah, there's supposed to be a protruding button and I'm like, there's no button at all. I cannot find it. What the hell's going on? And then I accidentally hit something that just looked like, you know, a bit of plastic molding. Actually, the button right up the top there. So then it just starts making, get your 5 LED lights in there. So the whole idea is obviously you need to be able to actually light it up and then put it back together again. I remember which way is which. No, not that way. Now I can't remember which way it went. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard, would you? Meanwhile, a few hours later, All right, I'll work it out later, but you get the general gist. So now it actually looks like a Tesseract. But yeah, it's pretty much like so. So that's, it's kind of cool. Like, as I said, like, I had problems with the Black Panther helmet. The battery compartment was super hidden, super hard to get into. So obviously, you know, this stuff it's not necessarily made the highest of quality. It's made for mass production, something that's cool maybe for a display piece, but maybe not, you know, actual usability or functionality, should I say. But yeah, it's still cool for what it is. And as I said, that's why I'm only focusing on if I actually see them cheap, that I'll actually, I'll actually pick them up. So, as I said, 39 instead of about 150, and 98 instead of 300. You can't go wrong. So, I do have, as I said, 2 more to go, without giving them away too much. I know one of them is going to be nice and easy to get into. The other one, yeah, that might be another one of the tricky ones, but we'll see how we go when we get to it. So, anyway, that will do for this particular episode for shopping with Spidey. Hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, as I said, I wasn't planning on buying anything, so I didn't get any footage of the shop and things like that. But I will, at the end credits, I'll have the link to my other shopping with Spidey video or videos, or I'll put the playlist in there anyway, so then you can check. I've only done 2 other episodes, so you can check them out and see the places that, you know, that I bought this stuff from, you know, from those places. So anyway, do the usual YouTube stuff, please. Hit that subscribe button. Get me up to 600 or close to 600 or over 600. That would be greatly appreciated. Do the, you know, thumbs up, because apparently it helps the algorithm. More eyes, more views, more hours, more this, more that. Supposed to do something good anyway. But yeah, if you want to, leave a comment too. But anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.